Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're actually on a little road trip. We're going to go pick up something that is going to be a huge help to our property. So I'm trying to get a little bit of an early start. It's not as early as I would like to have gotten. A few things kind of came up this morning that I had to get done before I could leave. We got that taken care of though, and it's actually about 8:30 right now. I was hoping to actually leave about 7 or 7:30, but you know, things come up, things happen. So we made it to where we're going. We're actually in Frankfort, Ohio at Southern Ohio Equipment Company. And as you can probably see around me, there are trailers and stuff parked everywhere. So what we came to get is this. We ended up coming to pick up a PJ dump trailer. This is a 7x14 14,000 GVWR. So we've got it hooked up to the truck. So let's head to the house and I'll do a complete walk around and we'll take a good look at it as soon as we get back to the house. So as you can see, we've made it back from Frankfort, Ohio, safe and sound. It was actually a very nice trip. I was really impressed actually the way that this trailer tows behind my F-150. Now, this particular trailer is a little bit overrated for my truck, but that's because I'm actually trying to plan for the future a little bit, because in the not too distant future, I hope to be buying a new truck. And the new truck that I'm going to be getting is going to be at least a 3/4 ton. So this trailer is rated for 14,000 pounds. My truck in the configuration that it's in is only rated to tow right around 10,000. All that means is that for the time being, while I still have my old truck, then I'm going to be just not overloading my trailer. So I can haul about 3 tons safely in this trailer. The trailer itself weighs 3,900 pounds. So that will put me right at the 10,000 pound mark. And it will easily tow that. It's just whenever you start trying to get over that, your tongue weight and all that kind of stuff tends to start putting a lot of weight on the truck. But like I say, planning on the future, then my next truck will be rated to tow at least 14,000 pounds or more. And that's kind of what this trailer was planned for, so that I don't have to buy a trailer now and then have to trade it in later whenever I trade in trucks. So that part's taken care of. I can make do with not towing the full capacity of this trailer until I get the new truck. So anyways, let's go ahead and take a walk around this trailer. I'll show you some of the features and stuff on it and show you some of the things that I'm actually a little bit disappointed in and the things that I really like about it also. So stick around as I show you what I like and dislike about this trailer. So first of all, this trailer is built on a structure of an 8-inch I-beam frame. And as you can see, the thickness of this frame is just monstrous. And actually, I was not expecting it to be quite like this. I know you read that in the brochures and online and all that kind of stuff. You really don't get the idea of how heavy duty this is until you're sitting here and you can see the width of it versus my hand. I was really impressed with that whenever I seen it. And I don't know what I was really expecting. I mean, like I say, I've read everywhere that it's an 8-inch I-beam frame, but it's just monstrous looking whenever you get here to it. So another cool feature, this tongue on this thing, of course you can adjust it to the height to be able to adjust it for your truck. And as you can see, actually on my truck, it needed to be actually down in the lowest setting because the trailer does kind of sit tall. Even though this is a low profile dump, it still is kind of tall for a 1/2 ton truck. So I did have to lower it down there quite a bit. The latch on here is actually a Demco Easy latch. I don't really have much experience. I haven't unhooked this yet myself, but I watched the guys hook it and unhook it a time or two as they were getting this adjusted at the dealer, and it seemed very easy to deal with. Like, it just popped it open and unlocks, and it's not like the old style where you have to, you know, fidget with it to get it to lock and unlock. So I like that. This all-weather plug, it's cold out here today, and this plug right here is just as limber as can be, so I really like this all-weather. I think this is like made out of silicone or something, but I really like that because this wire is not stiff at all and it just leaves it nice and flexible to be able to plug and unplug it. Also, it's got a 12,000 pound drop leg jack, and the spare tire did not come with the trailer. I did have to buy it separate. It did have the spare tire mount already on the trailer, so instead of having to add on both options whenever you're purchasing, all I had to do was purchase the tire and the wheel. And I think that together was maybe $175 or something. So, you know, in a lot of cases, you actually have to add the spare tire carrier and that's another $100 or whatever from the factory, plus you have to buy the tire and wheel. So it's really cool that PJ puts that mount from the factory on there. We've also got 24-inch tall sides with our stake pockets in here. It's also got the diamond plate. I think they call this like a 2-brake fender. That gives it, instead of having the round, it gives it two structure points there that makes that a little bit stouter. And this thing's designed to where you can put a lot of weight on it. It's actually got like a brace right here. You could actually step on that if you needed to. Of course, we've got our reflective tape all the way down the side. Back here at the tailgate, we've actually got the dual function tailgate, so it will swing out on the bottom and you can hook a chain to it and use it as a spreader gate, so you can raise it, and if you're putting gravel down the driveway, you can spread it out with the trailer. You can open up the barn door style gate and open them up to the sides to be able to load equipment and stuff in there. Our ramps actually store down here in the bottom. You just pull a couple of pins and this door flips down and your ramps are stored underneath here. But these are really good heavy ramps, and I believe they're 6.5 feet long, so it shouldn't have too steep of an angle to be able to load and unload into the bed of this thing. This trailer does come equipped with the LED lighting. As you can see, it's full LED. I actually have one trailer that they said it had LED, but it was only in the brake and turn signals, and it wasn't in all the running lights. This one is full LEDs all the way around. So another cool feature that I'm really glad this trailer has is actually there's a step right here. Now it's got these things on both sides, but that's where your marker lights are at. And if, you know, in a pinch, you could step on it, even on the other side. But over here, it's actually got a made-in step, and it's got a really rough texture to it so that your feet don't slide off of this. And it's at a good height just to step on. If you need to reach over in the bed or get up here, I mean, it's very easy to do so. The sides also have these little hooks. When you pull your tarp over it, then you can hook bungees or whatever to secure that tarp all the way down the length of the bed. So I was mentioning just a second ago about the bungee straps, but it also comes standard with the tarp kit installed on it. All the features that I'm pointing out are all standard except for the spare tire. That was the only thing that I bought extra on this. Everything on it is standard equipment. Now that we're back up to the front, it does have the lockable toolbox on it. Your hydraulic pump and your controls and everything are stored inside here. Comes standard with an interstate battery. It does have a trickle charger. You don't even have to open your box or hook up a battery charger to this battery. All you have to do is plug your extension cord into the side of it. As you can see, that plug-in is right there on the side. So I'm going to raise this thing up and show you the underneath of it and the structure of it, and then we'll talk about those pros and cons. So again, our main structure on this is this 8-inch I-beam frame, and it runs the full length of the trailer. And of course, we've got our cross members and stuff in here. And some of this cross structure is actually tubing, and then some of it is not. Some of it's channel, some of it's tubing. And then there's a little extra structure right here at the hoist. And like I say, this has got the scissor lift on it, but you can also kind of see some of the extra structure around this scissor lift that adds a little bit of weight to the trailer over some systems like the dual ram systems and that kind of stuff, which the dual ram I think actually will push more weight than what the scissor lift will, but the scissor lift is faster. So if you're hauling loads back and forth, then your scissor lift is going to help you empty that load faster. Also, as you can see, our ramps are stored underneath the trailer. A lot of people don't care for this channel type frame, but in my opinion, as long as they do good of routing their wiring and stuff, it's not a big deal. But that's where some people don't like it, is because your wiring is somewhat exposed. But if they keep this stuff clipped up and everything's out of the way, then I don't have any problems with it myself. I've never had any issues with trailers that are done this way, as long as the wiring stays where it's supposed to be. Some of the benefits I've been told with this scissor lift, if your load is a little bit uneven, this actually helps stabilize that because of all this other structure right here that helps keep your bed from wanting to tilt side to side. And our cylinder is a great big hydraulic cylinder. It's a 5-inch by 16 3/4 inch. It does also have the stand so that if you're working underneath the trailer, you can lower it down onto that and you don't have to worry about the trailer accidentally falling. The power up and power down is actually standard on this trailer, but you could add it to it as an option to do gravity down to kind of save on the battery a little bit. Let me run it back up. You can kind of see the speed of it one more time. As you can see, that thing really comes up off the trailer quick. It gets up in the air pretty quick, especially compared to some other methods of lifts. Jack. This has got a 12,000 pound jack. It's actually a 10,000 pound working load and 12,000 pound standing load. But this is called a drop leg jack, and what this thing does, instead of having to crank it all the way down to the ground, then all you have to do is pull a lever on it and use your foot to bring the pad down. You can pull the lever out, turn it over to the side. It kind of locks into place. Take your foot, push it down, and then just turn that lever back into position. And the jack will go to the closest hole to that locking pin. So we're only a couple inches off the ground right there. You don't have to crank it all that distance down to the ground. Also, it helps whenever you're trying to hook it up, because in order to raise that up, all you have to do is pull that pin and the jack spring loads back up into place. And then you can just finish winding it at that little distance. So I'm gonna try to make this a quick run through of all the pros, and then I'll go through and tell you what I found that I didn't like. So again, this all-weather flexible wiring harness. Of course, it comes with the toolbox with everything in there. It's got your plug right here on the side, and all you have to do is plug your standard extension cord right into it to charge it. The tarp is awesome to have on there standard. The spare tire carrier, again, it doesn't come with the tire, it just has the mount. The standard 24-inch bed sides, I really like that. So again, the multi-function tailgate, I really like the fact that you can use it as a spreader gate or open it like barn doors. And of course, your ramps and stuff built in there. So I'll take you through and show you some of the cons that I found, and haven't even used the trailer yet. I just brought it home and I just kind of looking over it, which I maybe should have done this on the dealer lot, because there's some things that I think PJ kind of missed that should not be that way. You know, there's a few things that we'll have to make some adjustments on to get it functioning perfect, but let me show you what those are. So first off, in order to open the barn doors, you pull the pin and you've got this little latch right here that has to flip up out of the way. Well, there's no way that you can push that open, and I have to beat it with a hammer to get that thing to spin around in order to be able to raise my lever up to open the doors. So you can see we got this little latch right here, and there's no way that thing should be that stiff and have that much pressure on it. Now, if you were out somewhere, you couldn't just open those doors up unless you carry a hammer around with you all the time to be able to spin this thing around. Now, that'll probably wear, and I've put some oil on there to try to get it to turn easier, but so far it's not turning easier, and it'll probably wear and get to the point where you can deal with it. But then the next issue is actually the door itself. This lever right here is really, you have to really crank that thing to get this thing to shut. And same way when you open it, you see how much pressure is actually on that thing. in order to close it. So when you go to push it closed, you have to force that thing back to be able to get it underneath to latch. And then again, whenever you turn the top down, you can see where it hits right here, and it actually puts tension on it also because it's got so much push coming back. So I think I'll end up just having to try to bend that just a little bit in order to get that to clear better and not have to push it back so far. Yeah, I know you want your doors to close tight, but there's a difference between closing tight and closing just way too tight. So you have to beat that thing with a hammer to get that back down there to be able to put your pin back in. So the next issue is whenever you swing the door open, it swings real nice and smooth. It's actually got some stops back here to hold it open, but they never latch. So it hits the pin and pushes it down, but the pin doesn't line up with the hole on the door. So as you can see, as we swing the gate open, it hits this pin and it's supposed to pop up through that hole, but the pin does not line up with it in order to pop up through there to lock the gate back. So as you can see on this side, it does lock onto the pin. It goes exactly where it's supposed to. So it's really not a big deal that that doesn't latch back, and it needs just a hair of finesse to get that to go. But I think these are things that PJ should have addressed before it was sold to a dealer. And then also, like I say, if I would have seen this and went over the trailer, I didn't go through it and open doors and do all that kind of stuff. So a lot of this is my fault. I'm sure if I would have pointed this out, they would have taken care of that. But it's also things that really from PJ shouldn't be this way. It should actually function perfectly when it's brand spanking new. So, you know, with that, it's a little bit annoying that that's happening. So there's one other thing that I want to point out. This lever right here, in order to release the tarp kit, you have to push it down. Well, they didn't get a real clean weld, or there was some weld spatter right here at this lever, and every time I push that lever down, I catch that little sharp spatter and it cuts me. I don't know if this is weld spatter or what, but there's just a little bit of stuff right there, and that's the only spot down through here that's rough like that. But the 2 times that I pushed that lever down, I got cut both times that I done that, because it's just in that right place, but it's only right there where that lever was at. But in order to fix that, I'm gonna have to sand that off to be able to smooth it down, which then makes a place where I take the powder coat off. And I don't really wanna do that. I shouldn't have to repair a place and then paint over or have to worry about it rusting because I had to sand the powder coat off to keep that from cutting me. But other than that, I mean, for the most part, I am extremely happy with this trailer. The build quality looks really good, except for just those couple little things. I think that, again, if I would have went through all this stuff at the dealership, they probably would have taken good care of that because they were great to deal with. So this trailer is going to be a huge asset to the property. I'm going to be able to haul gravel for our driveway. And if we only need a few tons, then we can do that and not have to order up a full dump truck load of gravel and then pay them to deliver it and all that kind of stuff. And we can do it on our own time instead of having to do it, you know, when they can do it. It's also going to be a huge help to our firewood operation because, as you can see, the big pile of firewood underneath our EastonMade STK24 is no longer there. We have burned through pretty much all that. That thing's going to be so awesome to be able to split off the conveyor into the dump trailer and then be able to move firewood wherever I want it, or deliver firewood if somebody wants to buy some. Right now, firewood is a big deal, so I think that I'll have no problem really selling loads of firewood. And now that I have the dump trailer, that'll make it that much easier for me to get into doing. So I can't hardly wait here in the next few days to be able to get our trailer over there to our EastonMade splitter and underneath the firewood conveyor and get this thing filled up, see how much wood this thing will actually hold. Again, this is a 7x14 with 24-inch tall sides, and I think it's really going to be beneficial to us in our firewood operation, our farm operation. There's tons of uses that we're going to have for this trailer. Again, I'd like to thank Southern Ohio Equipment Company for just being informative, being a good dealer. This person I spoke with actually was Rachel, and when I had questions about a trailer, she didn't need to go ask somebody else. She was an informed salesperson, and she could answer them herself and just fire off the answers without having to think about it. I found them on Facebook, and that's actually how I found out about them having the dump trailer in stock. The PJs were kind of hard to find around the area, and I did find one there, and in fact, they actually had a few of them. So if you think you'd be interested in some equipment like that, make sure to give them a look. I'll put their information and stuff down below in the description. So that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I know it's probably running a little bit long, but there was actually a whole lot of stuff on this trailer that I really liked and wanted to point out. So stay tuned for more videos with this trailer and us putting it to use. And if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to click that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.